This is a fountain. You know, this beautifully stained glass. This would be open. You can see that there's trees over there. It took a lot of time to even just design it. All right, I'm doing a different video today, straight from Damascus, Syria. We are in a Bayt Arabi, which is a traditional Syrian style home. This one's actually over 100 years old, located in Bab Tuma. And the way that Damascus is set up, there's 7 central gates, one of them being, Bab Tuma, which is the gate of the Apostle Thomas. It's a Christian quarter, very famous, narrow alleyways. It's a beautifully centralized area, close to the souk, the old Souk Hamadiyeh, which is in walking distance. That souk, which is basically a marketplace, has been around almost 250 years. Very historical, lots of shopping that you could do. And then you have also the historical Umayyad Mosque, Masjid al-Amawi, which is also in walking distance. So I thought I'd take a moment just to give an idea of what a Bayt Arabi looks like. We're actually staying in this. They converted it into a 10-bedroom hotel, and it's beautifully crafted. It's like it's frozen in time, and I'll give you an idea of what that looks like. One thing to consider is the Bayt Arabi is actually inwardly focused, meaning, all the rooms are on the outside, and then you have a main courtyard on the inside. Usually you can have trees in there. There's usually a fountain, and I'll walk you through that. But I thought I'd start right next to where my room is. And this one, again, is a 10-bedroom bed and breakfast. Bayt Arabi originally transferred into a hotel. And so I'll start on the 2nd floor, and you could see this beautifully stained glass, just a walk area. You could see there's other hotel rooms over there. And then you could see this mother of pearl, which is very famous in Syria, and a lot of their designs and wood carving. And so let's take a look downstairs. But like I said, this is the basis of a Bayt Arabi is it's inward facing. So you're gonna see an open courtyard and wooden ceilings, and you could see just the architecture is just amazing. Everything done by hand. And then the stained glass windows are also really a nice detail. And then you see a lot of the mosaic tiles. And so I thought I'd start here. I've been in these, Bayt Arabis before, but usually it's owned personally by an individual. I haven't stayed in a hotel. You can see these huge stones insulate the hotel to keep it cool naturally. We'll take a look. So that's the upstairs, and you can see this leads into the alleyway, narrow alleyway on your right and left, and that takes you to a lot of. But I thought I'd show you the outside of it, which is really cool. That alleyway will lead you to a lot of the touristy sites. There's a lot of historic churches and mosques and souks where you can purchase things. And this is a central courtyard area. Beautiful. Look at the design. This would be open. You could see that there's trees over there. And I'll give you an example of what the bedroom looks like. This is empty at the moment. See if the electricity will work. This is an example of one of the rooms. You could see. Really cool. Also a fountain centrally here, but it's a really interesting place to stay if you're coming as a tourist. It gives you a really traditional vibe. You get an idea of what it would have been like to live in one of these homes. And you can see all the design. I mean, they really took a lot of time to even just design it, and it really looks beautiful. Take a look over here in the bathroom. But all the details and the architecture is really what makes this place stand out. And you could feel, I mean, today's hot. We're June 5th, but it still feels cool in here. Like these huge doors. And like I said, you have this really nice courtyard. And everything done by hand, even the painting. And this is a seating area, and you can see also to your left and your right, those are other rooms that people are staying in. So like I said, it's this shared courtyard space next to Bab Tuma. And so I would say the good thing is, not just beautiful, but it's also functional in the sense that you're in a central location. They still have AC in each of the rooms. And the good thing is, one of the challenges that you'll have in Syria is a lack of access to electricity. So they have generators that kick in once the electricity goes out. could see. This is like the reception area. It's like a mini museum. You see all the wood and the traditional Syrian design over there with the walnut. So here's it gives you an idea. And this place is also great because they have a traditional breakfast that they serve each day that we've really enjoyed. But I will show you also on the opposite side is they also have another area that's a courtyard that they've used as a restaurant. I think that's something cool to take a look at. The other thing too is like, you see all this thick stone that they have? That is actually a natural insulation against heat. So it keeps the hotel really cool, even in the summers. And then you could see, you know, when I showed is they have the mosaics everywhere and the stained glass windows. You're basically stepping into a museum when you come here. It's another seating area. You can see all the traditional designs. Mother of pearl, they love it. And then you can see that's the restaurant over there, another courtyard. I mean, really intricate work. Really cool. I'll try to walk through it later, but I thought I'd give you an idea of what that looks like. Would strongly recommend if someone's coming to visit Syria and Damascus to try a Bayt Arabi. I think you'd enjoy it. I think it's an enriching experience. You get a taste of the culture. Usually it's centrally located. We're in Bab Touma. There's, you know, other Bayt Arabis that you could stay in, but we've enjoyed staying here, and I hope this gives you an idea of what you can expect in staying in a Bayt Arabi. We're gonna check out another suite that they have on the ground floor. It's just smaller. You can see a bathroom. Also nice design though. Each room is different, but the one next door I thought was the nicer one. But even though it's a hot day, it feels cool in here. Look at the furniture, the architecture. You don't feel like you're in a hotel. It's very nice. Even the designs, I mean, it's very traditional. قديش عمر الفندق؟ 200 سنة, so 200 years. حلو. ها؟ أنا شفتها بس فينا نروح مرة تانية. حلو. وقديش بالليل؟
هي $160.
$160. So basically I was asking how much is it per night? $160 per night, US dollars. I'm just so, you know, it's the design that I love about these bed and breakfast / old school hotels, these Bayt Arabis. It's really, really nice, the stained glass. Just a lot of detail. I mean, a lot of this is hand carved, even the ceilings. This is a fountain. Just doing it quickly. Just taking a look. Again, this is like the reception area in the hotel. Look at that old school TV. Again, these are all by hand. Wood carved, mother of pearl. I'll go take a look actually later today when I go back to the suit, because I want to actually buy some furniture that I can take back to the house that we've been renovating that has this Syrian style design and furniture. These are all custom made by hand, and they could be very expensive, but they're really nice to have if you like that type of design and, you know, sort of classical Syrian touch to your home. I love it. I think it looks really nice, but they have that everywhere. And the stained glass and the lights, all really, really nice. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can take a look at the restaurant area. Let's see. Let's get another fountain over here. This is where we've been having breakfast every morning. And again, this is the entrance. Stained glass windows. Looks like they use this as an office. And then the mosaic tiles. Really cool. And I love these mirrors. They see all that mother of pearl. First of all, it's a lot of work and it's super expensive. That's not cheap. But we will go take a look later today on what that looks like. But look how grand this area is. So this is a second courtyard. Usually in these Bayt Arabis, you have one central courtyard, you have some greenery, some trees, and historically that's where the family spent a lot of their time, in that open space. So this is just now a restaurant. So I think that gives you an idea. I think if you're visiting Syria, you should definitely consider staying in a Bayt Arabi. I think it gives you a good sort of cultural connection to the Syrian people and their traditions. And it gives you sort of an idea of what it might have been like to live in these homes. And it's a blast from the past. So definitely consider it in your next trip. And let me know if you've been to Syria before or if you're planning to travel. One more point that I think people will ask about is how much does what a Bayt Arabi cost? That's a difficult question to answer. It ranges. I mean, it depends on location, how developed it is, whether it was preserved, and to what extent. But you're talking anywhere between, 1 million to 2 million, and it can go even higher than that. But I think that's a broad range, and I say million, that's dollars. So at least I would say $1 million if it's in the central quarters of Damascus, the heart of the city, within the 7 gates, the Abwab, then you're talking at least $1 million. If it's like a boutique hotel and that's already been furnished, has a book of business, is somewhat reputable, then you're talking considerable more amount of money. And that's another thing. We're gonna go take a look at some properties here. Just curious, right? I think for many people, they're watching Syria closely nowadays with the political shift, with the US, pulling sanctions, at least President Trump stating that he'd withdraw sanctions on Syria, foreign investment, backed by the Gulf states could really transform the country, but it'll be one step at a time. And if you're looking for a first mover advantage, you always want to come in early to the party. And so I'm not saying I'm going to purchase a property here, but I would, my first step is always to do a little bit of due diligence, see what's out there and see what sort of value I can unlock. And I like to go early on, right? That's where I think you can get the best value. So we'll go take a look. Hopefully tomorrow, there's a property I want to check out in the Rikn area, sort of the northern area of the city, just to see. There's other areas too, like Malki, Mezze, that people really like, Kafr Souseh, which we went and took a look at. But it just really depends, what the purpose of it, whether you have, ties to the, country and the region, all play into a part of whether or not you purchase property in that location. So stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this look into a Bayt Arabi, and if you're planning to travel to Syria, I'd highly recommend that you stay, in a Bayt Arabi style bed and breakfast or hotel, and happy travels.